So it's no secret. It was no secret before Kobe Bryant passed away that he had a tumultuous relationship, especially with his parents, a strained relationship for some time with his sisters. Now, according to interviews that Kobe did himself, talking about his relationship with his parents, I looked at one that was like from 4 years ago when he talked about he felt like nothing he could do for them was good enough. He mentioned that, he told them, I'm going to buy you guys a very nice house. And the house that he wanted to buy for them, they were like, that's not good enough, according to Kobe. Um, it was the whole thing with his memorabilia. Allegedly, his mom was had sold some of his memorabilia without his consent to an auction house. That happened years before Kobe had passed. So, he talked about that also in the news and how upset that made him. From what I understand, they were not a fan of Vanessa when he got with her, and they were opposed to them getting married, and supposedly his parents did not go to the wedding. What I've read from Kobe and his sister, and Kobe did an interview about how he had to financially cut his sisters off because he was just doing too much for them, and if he continued, they wouldn't be independent. So, a lot of baggage, a lot of history, a lot of drama within his birth family. And everything I just quoted just now, those are interviews from him. I don't think we should be in a position of looking at all of that based off of, well, he's the famous athlete, that therefore that makes everything that he says that's going on with his family the gospel. Because we all know from our own personal families, things are complicated. Sometimes everybody has their own version of what's going on. So we don't really know because we're not in that family. And the thing about his parents not being excited about him and Vanessa getting together, I think Vanessa was 17. Kobe might have been, around 19 or 20 when they got together or got married. And so I would just say this. It's different when you have a star athlete in your family who is going on to be a professional athlete. You know the wealth that comes with that. And I just think, like with many families, it's always that caution, right, wrong, or indifferent, where it's like, be careful what you're doing, don't get girls pregnant. The whole idea that somebody could be trying to trap the athlete, okay? We all know that's a common narrative. So I don't know if that's what they were really concerned about back then or if it was something more complicated. I don't know. But I think it would be unreasonable for us to act like that wouldn't be a thing in many families with a star athlete. So, all of that backstory to say, now we have Kobe and Gigi's public memorial, and it was painfully jarring how not one speaker referenced his parents or his sisters. And it was all about Kobe, all about his life from the time he was with Vanessa and their children. That is weird. And while I was watching, the memorial and crying, and just because it's tragic, painful, that just started to hit me like nobody's saying anything towards his mom, his dad, or his siblings. And as strange as they were, whatever tumultuousness was in that history, and from what some people are saying, they were trying to work on mending things before he passed. Don't know if that's true. Kind of hope it is true, but it was just obvious that there were instructions not to reference them. And so when people on social media would say, because I posted about this on Twitter, and when people on Twitter would say like, well, they did that at the private ceremony, or no, this was just meant for the public. Y'all know come on now. Come on now. Let's not play dumb, okay? Everybody who got up there would have intuitively said condolences, of course, to Vanessa, his daughters, condolences to his mom and dad, to his sisters. That's his first family. For no one to mention them, that was due to instruction. And that was painful because I really felt in that moment like, but to see a mom and dad at a ceremony like that and for everybody to get on stage and basically act as if they never existed or they didn't matter was painful to me. And I felt like it was disrespectful. I felt like it was disrespectful. I don't care. Anybody could have said our condolences, our heart goes out to the family, to Vanessa, to Kobe's children, to his mom, dad, his siblings. That's it. But for that not to be done by anybody, that was definitely something that they were instructed to do. And I thought it was disrespectful. I don't even really care about what the drama was. In a moment like that, it was disrespectful. How on the one hand, we could talk about and celebrate life and celebrate love, and even outside of the ceremony, so many posts about how that unexpected tragedy made people reach back out to their family members and just say, hey, how are you? I love you. You know, whatever beef we got going on, I still want you to know I love you. And then for in this moment of a public ceremony for Kobe, his father, his mother, his sisters are not mentioned. I felt it was disrespectful. You know, if we are thinking about what can we learn from this or what should we take away from this, might just be just reassessing, you know, what beef are you willing to take to the grave? What is the deal breaker that we're willing to take all the way to the grave? Whatever beef you may be having right now with especially immediate family members, okay? What beef is so deep that you would say at my funeral or at my memorial service, this person is not to be mentioned? And then if it is a beef that is that deep, do you really want to take it to your grave? Or now when you're still alive and still have an opportunity, is it something you want to handle differently? Just asking. Just asking.